Okay, our team was given a list of organizations to scrape data from the Open 990 website, where the ultimate task is to create a database of key professionals from organizations in this website. So I'll show you an example organization. So here's the Parker School with their EIN number right here. And here's all the data. And now our target data here is the recent trustees and key personnel. So you see there's Gerardo Delgado, David Higgins. This is our target data that we're building our database from. It looks like a simple task, but this website presented several challenges. One of the challenges is that it's completely coded with JavaScript. Another challenge was that the website is delivered from Cloudflare servers, which Cloudflare has a host of security services which blocked a lot of our attempts to scrape the data. And another thing is that all of these tables are delivered from a backend API. So our solution actually involved scraping the backend API rather than grabbing the HTML from this website. So we discovered the API actually by using the browser tools. So I just pulled up the network here, XHR, and I'll just click something here. Let's see what we get. All right, so let's inspect here, and you see there's a request URL, and I'll just go to that website. And here is the backend API. You see is basically just some JSON data. So we were actually able to figure out the format for the URL and basically scrape from the API rather than scraping from the HTML website itself. So that left us with basically about 2,667 JSON files, which is a JSON file for each organization. Okay, this screen shows Alteryx Designer. This is the tool that we use to process the JSON files that we scraped from the website. So you'll see the first little book at the very beginning is our input JSON file, which was split into 4 streams. Basically, we pulled out the information that we needed, which is there's an alert that says if the organization has any key professional names or not. There's a separate stream to retrieve the name of the key professional, separate stream to get the EIN number of the organization, and there's also a stream for the title of the key professionals. So basically each of the streams you see is pulling out that data, processing it, and then at the very end it puts all the data back together. So we end up with a JSON file that only has the data that we need to insert into our database. This is our Python program that is basically our web crawler that we use to scrape the data from the Open 990 website. You'll see the 3 imports at the top are Scrapy, JSON, and OpenPyXL. Scrapy was necessary to scrape the data, and then JSON is because we're retrieving JSON files. And then OpenPyXL was used to basically iterate the the program over multiple EIN numbers or multiple organizations from an Excel file. So if you look down where it says, see, can you scroll down a bit, Denise, in the code? If you look down where it says in the yield scrapey.request URL, that's basically the URL for the backend API, and in the curly brackets it says EIN. So for each organization, the code grabs an EIN number from an Excel file, runs through the program, pulls out the JSON, and then the code restarts, grabs another EIN from another organization, and does the same thing. So we ended up with 2,667 JSON files for each organization. Now, if you look, here is an example of the JSON files that we retrieved from the backend API, which we then had to process through Alteryx. This is our MongoDB database. We chose MongoDB because it, first of all, it accepts JSON documents for storage. Secondly, it's a NoSQL database. When we started this project, we really weren't sure of the final structure of the data, so we needed something that was going to be flexible, which is why we went with NoSQL database versus a traditional relative database. And we also found it to be user-friendly, cloud-based, which was excellent for us to all use. During COVID, when we're all working from home, we could all work together on that from our homes. Now, if you look at the bottom, you'll see here our data was all inserted into the database, and basically our target information. You have the EIN number of the organization name, the key professional names, and their titles.